The 15th. Lake level is about 918 and a half. It's kind of been staying there the last 4 or 5 days. They've slowed down the amount of water they've been dropping out of Table Rock, but they've opened up Beaver and letting a lot out of there. So it's kind of been staying about the same. The water temperature has come down a little bit, you know, because we've had several cold nights, but it seems to be anywhere from about 56 to about 60 degrees. But fish are starting to bite real good. You know, last week when it was real warm, I was seeing a lot of fish getting up there on beds, a lot of fish cruising. But what's kind of fun, it's kind of my favorite time of the year, them big old smallmouth are starting to show up on a lot of these flat gravel points, and spotted bass as well. And I've had some good days. I think Sunday afternoon I had a really good day, you know, catching largemouths. And they were way back in pockets, about as far as you could go. And I caught them on a chatterbait and a 1.5 Strike King squarebill. But the key to that seems to be if there's bait back in there. And, you know, bait seems to be the key just about all the places I'm fishing. Even out on those points, if there's bait present, the fish seem to be grouped up around them. And I'm starting to find the fish, they're suspending a lot more than they had been all winter long. I haven't been down by the dam at all, but I've been up in the White River and quite a bit up in the James. But pretty much every place I've been, that green moss seems to be gone just about everywhere. Like I say, I haven't been down there by the dam in that clear water. I don't know if it's gone there or not, but you know, the lake was in a turnover process for about a week and a half. So I think most of that was on the bottom, you know, broke up because you could see it floating around on the surface, you know, quite a bit. But, you know, like I say, it's really my fun time, especially where I'm not guiding, you know, where we got this shutdown going on. I'm doing a lot of fishing. I hadn't been out very much in the morning, but the afternoons, especially where it's been cold these last few mornings, the afternoons seem to be the best bite for me. Like I said, I don't know if they're biting real good in the morning. I hadn't been out there. But as far as on a lot of those points, and usually once you get this going, you can repeat this all over the lake, and they're not going to be on every point. You got to jump around quite a little bit. But for the most part, you shouldn't have to get the boat in much deeper than 20, 25 foot of water. And I'll start out on the points. Some of them have been, you know, up in the bushes or just right at the edge of the bushes. Some of them have been out there about 12 to 15 foot. And a lot of baits that seem to work real good is a little underspin, or just like a Rage Swimmer or Kitech, like a 2.75 or a 3.2. Seems like I am throwing some bigger swim baits, but I'm catching more numbers of fish on the smaller one. But if you pick up a little bit bigger swim bait with a 1/2 ounce or 3/4 ounce head, you got a chance of catching a better fish, especially if you're back in the center of the creeks where there's more largemouth. Try the bigger swim bait. There's still fish out there on these points on a jerkbait. I mean, there's so many different ways to catch them. I think you can go out there, especially down in the clear water. I'm sure there's probably a good Alabama rig bite going on, but I'm kind of tired of throwing that A-rig. I've been throwing it all winter. Like I said, I really like catching those smallmouths, especially on light line. I'll use 6 to 8 pound line. And when you hook up with a, you know, 3 to 4 pound smallmouth, you got your hands full with spinning gear. So, you know, it can be a lot of fun. Now, the wind and the shad seem to be making a huge difference. If you don't have any wind, you're struggling to get a bite, I pick up a Ned rig, and about the same depth of water you want to fish. You want to fish from the edge of the bushes out to about 15, 18 foot deep. And, you know, something that we used to throw all the time that I've been throwing a little bit, the Ned rig and some other baits kind of took its place, but try a split shot. What you want to do is take about a 3/16 ounce split shot weight, crimp it on the line, use about a 2/0 worm hook, and then just Texas rig, Zoom Fish Doctor, or the old centipede. Another good bait to split shot this time of year is a speed craw, a Zoom speed craw. There's so many different things that'll work. I mean, you can take, I've got where I'm using that Ned head for about everything. A lot of times what I'll do, I'll just take the little Ned bait off and put the French fry on the Ned jig head. I think it comes through a lot of the stuff, you know, a lot better than what the split shot does. But sometimes that split shot action, it's like a miniature Carolina rig, works a little bit better because that weight's on the bottom and the bait's floating up, you know, up off the bottom, sometimes 6 or 8 inches. So sometimes a split shot can be a better technique than a bait that's right on the bottom. As far as the fish in the bushes, you know, I've been getting some quality bites in the bushes, but they're few and far between. There's a lot of buck bass, you know, up in the bushes, and I've been catching them on a 5-fish lures, 3/8 or 1/2 ounce jig, or like a beaver bait. And I've been using a Strike King, oh goodness, what's it called? Oh, it's a structure bug. Kind of lost my train of thought there for a minute, but structure bug, which is a lot like a Reaction or Innovations beaver. But I've been mixing the colors up. If the water's got some stain to it, I've been using something with some blue in it, like an Okeechobee craw. If the water's fairly clear, I'll use a California 420. And what I'm trying to key on them bushes, there's still quite a few bushes in the water. You know, some of them still got 3 to 5 feet. Seems like if you can find something that's got that 5 to 7 feet of water around it, especially if it's a willow tree, you know, sitting out there by itself, those are key areas to try to hit on. Like I said, a lot of times there's so many bushes and they all look the same, but if you find something that's a little bit different, maybe a hardwood tree, willow tree, something a little bit different within them bushes, that's normally where the fish will be. And, you know, and you can fish them anywhere from the main lake point all the way to the backs of the creeks. There's been some fish, you know, chasing shad. A lot of these good fish I caught the other day, they were in the back of the creek busting shad, and I couldn't get them to hit a topwater. I tried walking bait. I tried, you know, like pawpawers, and that's when I picked up the chatterbait, and I was throwing a Z-Man chatterbait, chartreuse and white, and also a black and blue. And it seemed like that was the ticket, was the chatterbait. It was, you know, getting them fish to bite it where they wouldn't come up with the topwater. And, you know, like I say, there was bait back in there, but there's so many different things that will work right now. And, you know, with it being cold, looks like we got a warming trend coming up. It's going to get better and better and better. You know, and even, I mean, this bite on the swim bait, the Ned rig, split shot, it's going to be a 2-month ordeal because there's going to be fish coming in to spawn. You know, last week we had a full moon. There was a lot of them trying to come in, but I don't think we've seen a fraction of the fish that are going to come in. I think they're still back out there. Some of them are in the centers of the creeks, maybe 10 or 12 feet deep, real close to where they're going to spawn. A lot of them are out on the main lake. There's still a good jerkbait bite out there. You know, there's multiple, you know, what I've been doing is once I catch a fish or two, it seems like if I get bored throwing a swim bait, I'll pick up a jerkbait, you know, and try it. A lot of times I'll catch a little bit bigger fish on the jerkbait. But, you know, fishing's really starting to get good. It's going to do nothing but get better. And like I say, this split shot Ned rig bite, it's going to last till the end of May up into June. So, if you get a chance, if you're not in a lock-in or lockdown, whatever they call it, need to get out and do some fishing. The lake has been busy. A lot of people out there must have lake homes, and they're down here, and there's pontoons out. A lot of people out there fishing, but it's a good way to get some time in with yourself or one other person, and not having to worry about being around a lot of people. And as far as tackle stores, you know, a lot of the big tackle stores are closed. But I know down here at the lake, Extreme Outdoors is open. Tackle or Harder House has got good selection of tackle. So there is several places you can get tackle. And if nothing else, you can go online if you need some stuff. But the tackle stores down here at the lake, the small ones are open. So till next week, good luck, good fishing.